Good day, everybody. This is JD, Economics USA style. As president, what would I do if I was president right now? Well, one thing is, every $1 billion that I would spend would have to create, at minimum, 10,000 jobs for every billion spent. The job must last more than 1 year. The job, 75% of the money towards that job would go towards the salary. 25% of that job would go towards the profit for the owner who created that job. But let's say an employee has 75 people working for him, and he wants to create 5 jobs. He puts in his paperwork 5 jobs. We go check it out. He has 5 new jobs, but he still only has 75 people working for him. That has created 0 jobs. 1 year later, we check. He still has 75 people working for him. He has created 0 jobs. If he doesn't have 80 people working for him, he created nothing. Now, the reason I say 10,000 over $1 billion is considering $100,000 per job. Actuality, it better be a lot less than that. Let's say they create a job that is, for example, $35,000 is the annual salary. Well, then they're going to get a lot less money. 75% of the money they're going to get will be $35,000. 25% would be roughly 25% of $35,000 is what they would get for creating the job. And the job has to last a full year. They would get a quarter of the money when the job is created, another quarter of the money 6 months down the road, 9 months down the road they would get another quarter of the money, and after 1 year they will have full payment. Because that's the way I would create a job. We look at the jobs we create. We want the annual salary to be $75,000 or less, not more. Any job that is created above $75,000 annual salary will only get $75,000 total for that job creation. So if a company wants to make a couple $4 or $5 million jobs, that's fine, but they will only get $75,000. And then they will get $25,000 for themselves for creating the job, and it will be paid to them in a 6-month, 9-month, and 3 months, 6 month, 9 month, and full year increment, not all up front. And that job will have to be in addition to what they had, and that will take in consideration 6 months prior. So if the guy thinks, well, I'll just lay off people, then I'll create the job and hire them back, it's not going to work. That is creating jobs. That's how you create jobs. There's too much greed, too much big corporation stealing from the middle class American people and their taxes. Now, this is a little bit of an idea, just one of many ideas I would do. The federal government is not a free handout, and too many big giant corporations act very much like people who are on assistance or welfare. They think they deserve this free handout. They don't. Now our veterans, when they get on VA disability, or a retired military who gets their retirement. That is not welfare. That is an earned benefit that they did by sacrificing themselves for this nation. And any of you who've never been in the military think that it's not a sacrifice. Let me tell you, 20-some, over 25 years in the Navy, and it's a lot of sacrificing. A lot of giving up. But we people who do the military, and our veterans, and our disabled veterans, have given up a whole lot. They earned those. Those aren't free handouts. They're not getting them because they were born here in the United States. They're not getting them here because they just contributed to a politician and he sent a contract their way. They earned it, giving up part of their hard life that was behind them. The disabled veteran, it may be an arm, it may be a leg, it may be an eye, it may be his sanity. And our retired military, it's a whole life of sacrificing. Missing out on sons and daughters' birthdays, missing out on Christmases time and time again. Missing out on their births. Missing out on all the family activities that you all out there take for granted. Being separated from the people they love. So don't ever look at a military retiree payment or VA disability as a freebie. Believe me, the price is very high. Now, let's talk about our economy. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to be a politician. There's a bunch of economists out there that if it wasn't for our Social Security and our unemployment, said that we'd be in a depression. It's the only thing that's keeping us from a depression that may be worse than depression of 1930, of the 30s, the Great Depression. Now, Social Security is not a freebie either. Every one of you who look at your paycheck and you see that money taken out for Social Security and Medicare, you paid for it. You paid for it in advance. And it is owed you and it will be paid you. Now, me as a president, if I was in this current situation, here's where my priorities would be. To ensure that Social Security, first and foremost, has more than enough money to pay out what that may be due, because that's one of the few things that is keeping this recession from going into a major depression. And then secondly, ensure that the unemployment is there. Now, if I have to take money from other programs like military, education, etc., welfare, I will. I'd leave welfare alone as long as I could, because that's also another thing that's helping to stay out of the recession. The number of people in the military I'd leave alone, but it might mean some new contracts of test equipment and maybe launching of a few rockets might be delayed a few years to come up with the billions of dollars we need. But you see, everything I'd leave alone or push forward would be towards you, the people. And I would create jobs. I wouldn't buy jobs like our current government is trying to do. I will create jobs. Jobs that will be here for a long time to come. And it won't be the old switcheroo job type deal where I take somebody and say, okay, they got a new jobs creation program. So yesterday you were so-and-so accountant. Today you are data analysis of money spent. Different name, different job. actually sane person doing the same work. No, that don't qualify. See, people, too long we've had too much welfare in this country. And it's not the welfare on the bottom that's killing us. It's not the Medicaid and Medicare at the bottom that's killing this country. It's the welfare at the top. The Medicaid and Medicare keeping these multi-million-dollar people in their mansion. That's where the problem lies. That's why I say our economy needs for all of us. These people at the top end need to realize, oh, it's great, contributed money around the world to feed the hungry and heal the sick. At the same time, ignoring your own children isn't a good idea. And that's what these people are doing. Because every penny you send overseas, no matter how hard you try, the corruption of the world gets a good chunk of it. There's places here where a lot of people can get a lot of help. I'll use, let's say, a corporate giant individual. Instead of spending money overseas to buy items, why don't you create a place within the United States to hire people to make those items and then send them overseas? Oh, that would do two things. That would still get your items overseas, but it'd create jobs over here for people over here. So, let's say you wanted to send 5 million, 6 million nets to mosquito nets to Africa. Instead of buying them from China, put a factory and make 5 million, 6 million nets here and send them yourself to Africa. You will hire a ship. You will have a factory. You don't even have to build a factory now. There's enough that are empty. You will make the nets. You will employ people. See? But no, you'd rather take the easy road. It's a lot easier to have somebody order a whole bunch of nets from somebody else on the other side of the world and have them fly them on an airplane from the other side of the world from a different airlines and to have them delivered by people who you have to pay so you can get them delivered on the other side of the world. That's just an example I'm using. This economy of ours, if it's not turned around, the people at the top must realize that they are a major part of the problems within this economy. And I'm not talking about just the business owners. I'm talking about these CEOs, these presidents, these vice presidents, these union leaders. All these people that are getting so much money. I mean, I would not consider someone getting $500,000 a year as being ridiculous. Someone getting $1 million a year, never mind 30 or 40, you have not passed ridiculous. You have gone to absurd. And that is what's killing everything. Those people who are taking that money are laughing all the way to the bank, thinking how stupid the board of directors are and how dumb the stockholders are. And you guys may argue, well, that's going to get us the best. It didn't. And it won't. It will never get you the best talent. It'll only get you the greediest. That's why I'm telling you, people, all together, the poor, the rich, and the middle class. We must work together. If we don't work together and we don't turn this depression, not a recession, but a depression, around, there won't be nothing left to turn around. The only thing that is saving this nation, the economy, these businesses, these high-paying jobs, is two small programs. They're called Social Security and unemployment. And when they can no longer carry the load, as it continues on and on, then everything will collapse. And the depression we have will make the one like the Great Depression look like a small depression. Many economists believe we're heading that way. So it's up to us, the people, together. We can do the job. It can be done. The secret is us together. We have to throw greed out the window. We have to understand, to get to where we can get all the fruit, we have to plant the seeds. Without the planting, the economy will not grow. It will die, and there'll be no fruit for anybody. Thank you. This is JD.